principals from different institutions of the state, educationists. In fact, I would say this is the forum of galaxy of luminaries who are present here, academicians, educationists, to share their views pertaining to the implementation of national education policy. As I said, Sikkim is a small state situated on the lap of mighty, majestic, yet serene Mount Kanchenjunga. Our state is known as the abode of God and goddesses. And that could be the reason why we are very humble, hospitable, unpolluted, appreciated by all. We would like to maintain this character of our state in times to come also. Let me begin by congratulating the Board of Open Schooling and Skill Education, BOSI, Sikkim, for completing a year of functioning in the state of Sikkim. It has been a challenging year, and I extend my heartiest commendations to the hard work and dedication with which each of you have taken up the responsibility. And as you celebrate this first Founders Day, we are all honored to have gracious presence of Dr. Subhash Sarkar, Honorable Minister of State, Minister of Education, Government of India, Mrs. Saroj Sharma, Chairperson, NIOS, the GP Upadhyay, of course, ASH Education Department, teaching faculties. As I stand here, I feel privileged to be heading the education department as the whole country is going through a very exciting and important phase because of the introduction of new educational policy, NEP 2020. The policy, it is forward-looking and contemporary, also at a rich potential of taking the education system of our country to the next level, which is most appropriate to the 21st century. In the years of pandemic, we have witnessed a sea of changes in the delivery system of our education system. We have been forced to move from traditional media's methods of teaching to new and different methods of teaching. In Sikkim, to meet this unexpected demand, our teachers at all levels conducted online classes through various mediums. The Department of Education implemented various teaching learning methods by way of developing its own portal called EduTech, which is being used by all teachers and students, including the private schools. We also organized teacher training program and live classes through radio and local TV channels. The department provided laptops with preloaded learning materials to those clusters where internet connectivity was poor. In addition to these, the state government also distributed smart TV sets with Dish TV connections to all the students, senior classes. All this help students who have not been able to attend regular classes to stay at home and continue their learning through online system. And we have also conducted home education system also, in which we engage our teachers to impart education to the students in a small group, duly keeping in mind the protocol. As the COVID situation has improved in our state, we have decided to reopen schools and colleges maintaining the required COVID protocol. However, the effects of such long closure of schools will certainly be there in terms of learning gaps amongst the students. And there will always be some students who will be unable to continue their studies and others who for socioeconomic reasons drop out of the school system. For such students, the opportunities provided by open schooling give them an alternative to acquire the needed education to build their future. Even though state has a study centers of National Institute of Open Schooling, NIOS, and Regional Center of Indira Gandhi National Open University, IGNOU, having a board of open schooling and skilled education has provided a platform. I'm sure it will continue to play its role to strengthen the education system of our state and will ensure universal access to education.
National Conference on NEP 2020 towards India-centered holistic inclusive quality school education, which has been organized by the Board of Open Schooling and Skill Education Sikkim. BOSSCE was established to identify out-of-school children and to enroll them with the board as per their eligibility. It has been empowered to enhance access to school education and increase retention rates at all levels of schooling. The board is promoting open schooling and networking, capacity building, sharing of resources and quality assurance. Further, the board has been empowered to provide, among others, following important functions to identify educational needs of the children or persons who are otherwise and not catered to by the formal system of school education, and to open, establish, recognize and accredit schools as study or academic centers, and to provide sustainable, inclusive learning and universal and flexible access to quality school education, including vocational education, training programs and skill development programs. I am happy to know that they have organized a national conference on a theme of great national importance that we have uttered just now. In this connection, I would like to say that Bharatiya perspective of education, that is Shavidya Ya Vimukta, denotes education as a way which liberates human beings. As you know, that our great leader and thinker, Pandit Deendayal Upadhyay ji, was a great supporter of this panegyric, as he believed in holistic development of human beings through education. Pandit Deendayal Upadhyay ji himself was also a talented student. He earned many scholarships in his life. Pandit Deendayal Upadhyay ji presented a great philosophical principles of integral humanism. This is very important to the whole world, which can be considered the outline of the comprehensive development of a person's personality. He promoted the continuous and integrated program of every human being's body, mind, intellect, and the soul, realization of Vasti, Shamasti, Srishti and Parameshti, according to Bharatiya ethos in the crux of the philosophy, education in the way to realize the enlightened value. Dear friends, all of you are teachers. I should say a few lines of his realization. Pandit Deendayal Upadhyay has told nothing new. He has not invented anything. Rather, I will tell, he discovered. And he discovered from where? Which was retained within us. From Veda, Upanishad, and from everything he found out. And he believed and proved Just, there are so many science students. You know, jar and life. So he understands in such a way that everything is have life. The basic principle is this: a society, if we place some people to any land, it will not form a society. So naturally, to form a society, it gradually gets life, and it is also a life. A little bit, it will be difficult to understand right now. If I tell my history means to understanding of Pandit Dindal ji, that's history. I read Pandit Dindal ji in regional language, in English. But when one day I read Pandit Dindal ji's Integral Humanism in Hindi, which was originally written, then I could understand. There's so many Ratnas are there. The first thing is, a society is a life. A system is also have life. This is very important. We are discussing about the system. Every system has got its life. So it is difficult to understand how a system can develop. I am giving follow such and such, and this will be followed. How this can be life? You can understand. Just you think that from this auditorium we will decide, okay, we will do our work from 7.
And I would like to, before I say anything further, I would like to share a very bright spark of this morning. We received a message from Honorable Vice President of India on Constitution of Board of Open Schooling and Skill Education, Sikkim, congratulating them on their first anniversary. If you see the chronology of the whole thing, the new national education policy came into being on 29th of July 2020, last year. The legislation for this board was passed on 21st of September 2020, and the board was notified by Law Department, that means enforced, gazetted, on 8th of October 2020. So perhaps, and constitution of this board itself is a step in the direction of implementation of the national education policy. So I think Sikkim perhaps was the first state who took a very, very first step just barely after 2 months of announcement of national education policy. This policy is a historic document. We all know about it. We have read about it. Still, I will take a couple of minutes to outline few things about the policy, which are very dear to me. Before that, with the permission of the chair, I would like to read the message of Honorable Vice President of India, Shri M. Venkaiah Naidu ji. Bharat ke Uparashtrapati, Vice President of India message. I am happy to know that Board of Open Schooling and Skill Education, BOSSE, you may call it BOSSE, but BOSSE smacks of boss, so BOSSE perhaps is better. Sikkim is celebrating its first Foundation Day anniversary by organizing a national conference on the theme NEP 2020 towards India-centric, holistic, inclusive, quality school education. It is commendable that Sikkim has established BOSSE, the first of its kind school education board in the country that lays equal emphasis on skill training along with academic education. To accelerate India's growth and development, it is important to bridge the skill gap in the youth in tune with new and emerging market demands. I am happy that the board is also offering programs in regional languages to make education inclusive and accessible for all. The new education policy is a transformative document. I repeat, transformative document to reorient our education system towards 21st century needs. It gives much needed emphasis on vocational education and lays a roadmap for accessible, affordable, and universal education. I appreciate that BOSI, in the spirit of NEP 2020, endeavors to provide holistic education to students so that they may grow up to become responsible global citizens. I repeat, responsible global citizens and proactive partners in the development process of the nation. I extend my warm greetings and congratulations to the management and staff of the Board of Open Schooling and Skill Education BOSI, Sikkim, on its foundation day, and wish the event a grand success. Signed by M. Venkaiah Naidu, New Delhi, 21st of October 2021.
In Sikkim, we had a very unique concept called, in 1978 till 2009, there was a system called pre-primary teachers being addressed as school mothers, which would mean that in those days, in the late 70s and early 80s, our then education planners wanted a mother at school as well, someone who would take care of the children as the mother does take care at home. So the ones who were taking care of these children at school were fondly called school mothers. Until in 2009, after the T Act came, some men also started getting appointed as pre-primary teachers, and the concept of school mother could not continue forward. So we call it now the pre-primary teachers. And there is a prescribed qualification for the pre-primary teachers as per the NCT, which is also the academic authority under RT for the country. So these are some pictures, views of our school mother system in those days. Under HRDD, earlier the department was called HRDD. So during those days, pre-primary classes of government schools under HRDD came back to the department in 2013. Classes 12 past teachers handling the pre-primary classes. The duration for the class was 4 to 5 hours, funded by the state government, and the age of admission in pre-primary level was 4 plus at LKG and 5 plus at UKG. So required qualification for the PPT then during that time was class 10 pass or class 12 pass. However, the NCT prescribes a very professional qualification for the PPTs. The number of pre-primary schools 2013, we had 767. The age of admission was 5 years plus. ICTs were supposed to admit and are yet, it's children below the age of 5 years. So shifting of responsibility of preschool education to ICTs because of the RT Act implemented in 2010, preschool system in the education department was stopped.